Hi, today we're going to create this colorful umbrella in the rain. We're going to start by finding a vertical center line and a horizontal center line. And you could do this just by starting at the top of your paper and lightly sketching an up and down vertical line through the middle of your paper. This doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Now I'm going to find the middle again and draw a horizontal line going right across from side to side. And that's going to help us determine where to put some dots. Now we're going to position some dots. One here at the top. Oh, let me move the camera so you can see. And we're positioning these dots according to where these lines are. So notice this first dot is a little bit to the right. There's a little bit of a space here. So we're gonna mark that dot there, and then we're gonna make a diagonal line with our finger and make the next dot right there. And then we're making another diagonal line a little bit further down and marking another dot. And then we're gonna come inwards. Notice the direction of my finger. I'm making another dot, and I'm just loosely thinking about where the next dot's going to be according to those two lines. So what I'm doing is making these dots on a diagonal in a sort of circular form, okay? So I'm making a diagonal here with my finger and adding a dot. Another diagonal that comes up here, and I'm making a dot. So you see, I'm using the first two lines as a marker so that I can see where my dots should go. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. It just sort of helps you make the umbrella. So now, add a dot in the center here of the top of that line here. And you see how these dots are all around, and we're going to connect them now with diagonal lines. So start at the top and just go around and connect the dots. And they don't have to be perfectly straight diagonal lines. They just have to go around and connect the dots just like this. Just try your best to put the dots in the right place. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, it's tricky, I know. Just do the best you can. Now find that middle dot there, and we're going to connect the dots going right through here diagonally. So that just means I'm starting here and I'm slanting a line through that center there, and then I'm connecting. And then I'm going to do that again on this side. So start there, and notice there's going to be two little bumps though this time. So watch this. I'm going to bump the line, and then I'm going to connect it to that middle dot again. And see that bump there? That makes all the difference. So make that little bump go up. It's like a curve, and then connect it to that center dot. And it's kind of like a big X that you've made there. Okay, we're going to do that again. And this time, starting at that top dot, I'm going to make a little bump, and I'm going to curve it till it hits that center dot there. There it is. And then I'm going to do that again, and it's going to make a little bump here or curve and connect it to that center dot. And we're going to do that one more time from here to here. And it's going to be curved this time. So start at that side dot and make it curve upwards a little bit and then curve back down. We're going to do that again on the right side. Start going up and then curve and connect to the middle dot there. Okay. Notice it looks like an X again. So it's kind of like two X's or like a big spider. Now we're going to create the skirt. So it's just two slanted lines that come out from the bottom of your umbrella and one horizontal line, or a line that goes from side to side, and it creates that rectangular sort of skirt shape. Now we're going to create the shorts. So I'm going to start with a rectangular shape that is sort of right on top of that middle line. And it's like just a square shape. And then the next one is a little bit higher than the first one. Okay, so we have the longer one and the shorter one. Now, we're going to create these legs. The legs are just coming down straight. 1, 2, and notice that they're straight up and down, or they're vertical. And now I'm making the next leg 2 vertical lines that go up and down, and I'm trying to make those legs the same width or the same size. Now I'm going to make 2 little smiley curves right here for the top of the boots, just like that. And then I'm going to come down with a vertical line and come down with another vertical line there and add a little boot. So that's the toe area. Just draw a little curve and do the same thing on this left side. So come down with the vertical and end the boot there. The left boot is a little bit higher than the right boot. And then we're going to make an organic shape, or a blobby shape that goes around the feet. And that's going to be as if she's standing in a puddle. So just make your curvy blob shape. There's no right or wrong answer here. See that? And it's like the boots are standing in water, in a water puddle, because it's a rainy day. All right, let's move on. Now it's time to erase those 2 lines that we drew in the beginning, because those were just guidelines to help us get the umbrella correct. So I'm just going to erase inside here, make sure I erase that vertical line, and I'm going to erase this horizontal line going through. And I'm going to erase this vertical line going through here. Because we just don't need it anymore. So once you have that all erased, just brush it off with your hand. Get rid of all those little eraser crumbs. And there you have it. There's your nice drawing of your umbrella and a little girl in a puddle. Now inside each section we're going to create a different pattern. And a pattern just means you're repeating lines or shapes over and over. So we're going to repeat this shape. Do you guys know this shape? Circles. So we're going to repeat these circles inside this part of the umbrella. Little polka dots, a little polka dot pattern is always perfect. So give it a shot. They could be the same size circles or different size circles. In the next section, think of another line or shape you can repeat. And I think I'm going to do spirals. So this is a line that goes around and around, kind of like a circle, but it spirals around and around and around and around. And I'm filling in that whole section with my spirals. And this section, let's think of a nice pattern. How about a bump pattern, or a curvy pattern here? So I'm just bumping, bumping, bump, bump, and they don't have to touch. And I'm just bumping, bumping, bumping. It's just a curve, curve, curve. And notice that I'm filling up this whole section until we get to the top. Perfect. I'm just refining this here. Okay. Now, the next pattern I'll put here. And I think I'm going to do vertical lines and horizontal lines. So vertical lines are your up and down lines. And horizontal lines just go from side to side. And that makes a checkerboard pattern. Notice that? Now, for this pattern, I'm going to connect the bumps. So it's kind of like the pattern I did on the bottom there, but this time the bumps are touching, and it almost makes it look like fish scales. So this is a fish scale pattern. Now the next section, what line or shape shall we repeat? How about a zigzag? Zigzags are fun. They go up and down, up and down, up and down. And they're pointy, up and down, up and down. And that's a zigzag. And this one is a dash pattern. So I'm just making 3 dashes going up and down, and then 3 dashes going from side to side. 3 dashes that go up and down, 3 from side to side. And you repeat that over and over to get that dash pattern. Now this one is my curvy pattern, so I'm going to make my wavy lines with little curves. And these lines can touch, or they don't have to touch. And there you go. That is one cool umbrella, full of pattern and repetition. Now, it's time to color. So I always like to use my oil pastels, but you can use crayons if that's what you have. And you're going to carefully start to color each shape in. So I'm going to start here with the circles, the polka dots, and I'm coloring them in with my purple. Just take your time, try to stay in the lines. We're going to outline every section using a different color. And then later on, we're going to take watercolors and color each section with watercolor for the background. So notice I'm taking my red and I'm just tracing over the wavy pattern there. And now I'm going to change to orange, and I'm going to trace over my dash pattern. And now I'm going to take my green and trace over my zigzag pattern. And now I'm going to take a blue and do my bumpy fish scale pattern. Just outline it carefully. I have mine sped up a little bit. You can go slower, of course. Just take your time to follow the lines with your crayon. So you're just following those lines just like you were a little ant. There we go. And the next pattern I'm going to do is with green. It's that bump, bump, bump pattern. There it is, bump, bump, bump. Perfect. Now, last but not least, my spirals. I'm going to repeat the orange color again and just carefully follow my spirals around and around until they're all traced. Okay, perfect. Now, we're also going to use blue in the background, blue dashes. So your background is all the space that is surrounding the umbrella and the girl. So all that negative space, all that blank white space, let's fill that in with short dashes that are all going the same direction. And that's going to represent rain. We're also going to fill in this puddle with the same rainish color, this light blue. And I'm just going to carefully fill it in. Go around the boots. Be careful to stay in the lines. Now, I'm going to take my white. If you have white crayon, that'll work too. I'm going to take the white right on top of that light blue. And just fill it in. Even though you can't see it so well, it does make a difference. So use your white if you have it. We're also going to use white in all these little blank spaces to add more dashes to the rain in the background. So just dash, dash, dash. Make sure you're going in the same direction, a diagonal slant. Just add those dashes of white in between all the blue dashes. So it just adds a little more rain. Okay, now I'm going to color the boots yellow. I'm just filling them in solid yellow. And I'm also going to color the raincoat or the skirt with yellow. And then I'm going to pick any color. It could be any color. And I picked orange for the shorts. But you could pick any color you like. And then a skin color. So any color skin you want, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put a beautiful brown skin tone here. And I match both legs. And there you have it. Now we're going to switch to watercolors. So take out your watercolors, get some water, and get a paintbrush, and let's start painting. So each section in the background of the umbrella will be a different color. And notice that you're going to see the crayon or the oil pastel right through the watercolor. And then I'm going to pick a different color, green. I'm just going to fill in each section, change to yellow here. Each section is a different color. Make sure you wash your brush in between colors. So this is a purple. I'm just putting the purple right on top of the crayon. This is the orange. I'm just painting in right on top of that green crayon there. This is my blue. I'm putting the blue, a lighter blue, right on top of the dark blue. And then a dark green here. Just paint right on top. There you go. And last but not least, the polka dot section, I'm going to paint brown. And of course, you could do any color you like. You don't have to do these colors. There it is. Okay, now all this background space, we're going to paint the background using blue, purple, and black watercolor. And it really doesn't matter what order you do these in, as long as you're using a lot of water and you figure out which one is blue and which one is purple, because sometimes you look at these and you're not quite sure, but just test it out before you put it on. So I'm picking out blue first, and I'm just going to carefully go around the body here. And notice the raindrops are showing through because that was made with my crayon. And now I'm going to switch to purple. So watch how the watercolors will blend, and that's good. You want them to blend. So the purple blends really nicely with that blue. And I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do blue first with a lot of water. And then I'm going to switch to purple, and the purple will blend right with the blue. And notice the raindrops, they show right through. So here's my purple, and I'm just, doing it pretty loosely Not really thinking about it too much. You just want them to be blended. So if you need to add water on top of something to blend it, go ahead and do that. Here's my black. And I'm going to let it blend right in there. And I am going to make black on the bottom and in the corners. So it gives it a nice effect, like it really is a rainy day. So I'm taking that black and I'm blending on the bottom and on the corners. And just make sure it's blended by adding water. And I'm going to do the same thing all around the top. I'm going to switch to blue again. I'm going to go ahead and add water to it so it blends really nicely. And then I'm going to change to my purple and I'm going to blend the purple. And then finally the black. Because like I said, the black corners look pretty nice. So I'm going to go again with the blue, and if the blue gets too dark, you just water it down, let it blend in. Switch to your purple, and then black in the corner. Okay, if you want to add more black to the bottom to make it a little darker, go ahead and do that. Alright, and there you have it. I'm going to let this dry. Look at that. Make sure you post your artwork on Google Classroom. Thanks, guys. Good job.